Coming straight at you for episode 5. This is a doozy, guys. This is Just Okay Movies.
We're just okay and we play some
movies.
games. We're just okay.
Movie watchers.
It's flawless how you edited that.
That
was so well done. Well, thank you for coming to Just Okay Movies. My name's Biggie Size, and I'm joined by the Just Okay Gamers crew. Guys, go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Hello, Earthlings. My name is Psycho Guido, and I'm here with...
I am Sub-Security Officer Fart.
I am Cyclo number 2, second in command, Millpool.
I'm just a measly human dog thing.
Oh, you're a man animal?
Nasty. Yeah.
You're a manimal.
Filthy man animal.
Man animal.
I
bet you want this rat.
Filthy man animal.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's already started. It's going to be madness from here on out. Guys, thank you for tuning in. We watched a little film we like to call Battlefield Earth. It was left completely at the chance. We spun a wheel. We had 5 different movies we had on that wheel, and it just so happened to land on mine, for better or worse.
Oh, you made this movie? You son of a...
I hate you so much, man. Fucking shit.
I'm not totally sure if a human being made this film per se. I feel like this was like the best attempt of a computer trying to make a somewhat of a science fiction film. Because, oh my god, we'll get into it, but it's a mess. It's an absolute mess. But at this point, I would like to go ahead and say, if you like this podcast and you like the Just Okay Gamers crew, please go over to patreon.com. Go to patreon.com/JustOkGamers and please donate. Donations are actually, my own donations fund this podcast, so it can help the guys a lot be able to do other projects and things of that sort. So please go do it.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, no,
Thanks,
no
Biggie.
problem. I love you guys. You'll need more money. We'll get you more money.
Thank you.
So I want to go ahead and jump into the film. And we're going to try our best to stay on task because there's so much about this film that we could go off on tangents. And we want to try to give a nice, rounded scope of what we're dealing with here in Battlefield Earth. And I do want to start with one little thing. I don't know if a lot of people who are listening have watched the film. Highly recommend you sit and watch it if you're interested in films at all. But I do want to paint a picture of what we're dealing with here. There's a particular scene that I absolutely love. So I'm going to paint it in your mind's eye of this image. Imagine John Travolta dressed up as a Klingon, shoving a rat in a human's face while spouting very charismatically, "Do you want lunch?"
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Would you like a treat?
No, that's good cinema.
It's excellent cinema.
One of the best.
I don't see anything wrong with that at all.
Yeah. And, we normally do bits on what could happen in movies, such as people burying their assholes and whatnot. But this isn't a bit. I don't think we'll do any bits this time because it's all a bit.
Yeah.
It's all just horrible.
It's terrible.
We couldn't come up with things that are worse than what this movie is.
Well, I just...
Wally's broken. That's how bad it is.
It's so bad. It's like the plot, even the broader narrative,
Well, I guess I'll go ahead and give a synopsis since it was my fault that we had to sit and watch this film, even though I absolutely enjoyed it.
What?
The film starts out, year 3000. A group of aliens known as the Cyclos took over Earth within, say, minutes. They took it over. Laid the human race to mine minerals like gold and stuff to help fund their intergalactic corporation. We follow one in particular guy who actually seems to be a little bit smarter than the rest, and him trying to overthrow the Cyclos and save the day. That's the general overview. It doesn't sound too bad. Actually sounds like a pretty decent sci-fi
rough
film.
cut. Rough cut. It sounds pretty doable.
Yeah.
I don't see where this would go wrong.
Yeah, nowhere. It's spot on.
I felt like when John Travolta sat down and read Battlefield Earth, which I'm sure he probably read many times, I'm sure he had a stroke of brilliance. Like, no, this would be a really good film. And I think anyone would think that. It sounds very
Actually,
intriguing.
Well, with just the blind pitch, yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Give me some screenwriting.
Exactly. It is the construction of the film, and I know we'll try our hardest to explain exactly what happened, but it will be a little difficult, and I still recommend you sit down and watch it, even after we've told you all the great little ins and outs, because I'm sure we're not going to cover everything. So let's jump straight into it.
I could
go ahead.
I could stick a pen halfway in my anus and squat over a piece of paper and write a better script than what this is.
Oh God. I mean, just where do you want to begin? Because I have so many objections with the decisions being made.
Yeah, and it's not just a script.
Oh my God!
No,
every aspect of this film is horrible.
Yeah,
the cinematography
and the cinematography, both horrible.
Every shot is on an angle. I don't understand.
If you want to know what a Dutch angle is in cinematography, this is the movie that should be right next to the quote. The definition of a Dutch angle, because every single shot. Angle. Give me the old Dutch angle. We'll do forward and back shots between dialogue just with Dutch angles, and then we're going to swipe it away.
Yeah, swipe to the next. Just swipe it over.
The place I want to start, and I think it's the point where all of us watching this film probably felt like we were tripping on acid for a second, is the first 15 minutes of the film. I remember, I guess it was a couple years ago when I watched this movie, my friend's like, hey, you want to watch Battlefield Earth? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. The first 15 minutes, I was positive he was pulling my dick, and this was some other film, because there is no way this is an actual theatrical release movie. And I went and did research. This film had a budget of $79 million, and that's still a big number for today. But compare that. Go ahead.
Hold on. You might want to check that figure, because the company that declared the budget got put out of business after being sued for over declaring the budget by $30 million.
Are you for real? I did not read that.
Yeah, Franchise Pictures, they were known for saving movie ideas that nobody else wanted to touch.
Really? Well, I can believe that, because when I started comparing other films that came out in 2000, X-Men, a really solid movie, cost $79 million. That was its overall budget. Even a movie like Gladiator, which I think won Best Picture in 2000, it had a budget of $100 million. I mean, these were the kind of, of course, what Wally said really puts into context. They were really 30 million shy. But it still puts into context that this movie should have at least been competent. It had the money, it had the actors, it had the resources, it had Warner Brothers behind it. It should have been fine. And I remember it was marketed the hell back then. I mean, it was supposed to be a big deal.
Was it Warner Brothers? Because John Travolta had to go to this German production company that Wally mentioned, because no one else would touch this. That's what I read. When
going, if the opening title is anything, I thought I saw the Warner Brothers seal.
Yeah, okay. Distributed by
it may have been distributed by them, yeah.
Yes, that makes sense. So I guess let's jump into the first 15 minutes and what all happens in that scene. Oh my God, does the set look awful? It's like they went to a rock quarry and put up some wooden walls. It's like, all right, this is our village.
Yeah.
This is where part of the film is going to start. And we're going to talk about a whole bunch of things that make no sense.
Right.
And
give no context to it.
No context.
Well, the context was there was a screen at the start with 2 paragraphs of text.
Right.
Kind of gets you caught up.
Right.
Oh, that was all in German, so I didn't read that.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So
all I understood was the year 3000.
Yeah, that was it.
That's all I needed to know.
But we have these humans living in this little settlement, I guess fairly far away from where the dome is that the aliens live in, because the aliens can't breathe oxygen, so they have this dome that they operate out of and keep all the humans in Denver.
They fucking chose Denver, Colorado as their seat of power.
That's right. So we learned about this guy. What the hell is his name?
Barry
I don't even
Pepper.
know what his name is.
It's like
the hero's name is Johnny.
Barry Pepper?
Oh, Johnny Goody or something?
Johnny. Okay.
The
He's also
hero's
called
name is Johnny.
Johnny Goodboy.
John.
Good boy. That's it.
Johnny
Good boy.
The fuck?
It's Johnny Goodboy something too. It's like 3 names.
Yeah.
Oh, well, he's also known as Greener, which I was like, Greener, what is that? And then I was like, my mind was already like, I felt like I was tripping on something. So I was just trying to let my brain process what my eyes was seeing. But then, like, when he explains it later, he's like, Greener means I always think something's always greener on the other side. And I just went, huh? And that was the only thing I could muster from that explanation, a sign of disgust and hilarity. And that's just kind of how the film goes. From one scene to another. I will... Oh, go ahead, Guido.
So Barry comes in on a horse. He's falling down a mountain. This is where he's introduced and is immediately told that his father's dead.
Yeah. Also, no context to that, like what his dad was doing.
Yeah.
Just he didn't make it.
But it's not graceful how he enters. It's the most awkward entrance because they shut the gate because you see this woman standing outside this gate and the old guy, you already assume he's like the town elder or the leader. He's like, he's not coming back. He's a Greener. And then like she walks inside and then all of a sudden she looks up on the hill and it's this weird ass shot. Like, I don't know if they like composited him into the scene or the background into the scene. Is the weirdest thing. And he just comes down this hill on this horse really awkwardly. This happens within about 3 seconds. So what leads up to him finding out his father's death is comically bad timing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
sorry, Guido, I had to talk about that composite
that's
shot.
fine. He learns about his dad's death, and it cuts to him like making a cairn, a bunch of stones as a grave, and then he yells, but the picture on the screen is his mouth closed. It's just like this choppy slow motion, and then like an overdubbed person screaming.
Yeah.
And the slow motion's horrible. It's like it's not like they didn't shoot it in the proper frame rate almost.
Yeah, and then it like cuts right to the old man that told him that his dad died right away, like in the same transition of slow-mo.
Oh, not
that
even a
scene.
cut.
Right.
It's a fucking wipe, dude.
And we're talking, think Star Wars screen wipes, but instead of establishing a scene, it cuts out like half the dialogue, and an awkward thing is happening, like they're still talking or they're moving away awkwardly. Screen swipe at a Dutch angle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So garbage.
Oh,
and
it's
there's
terrible.
no validity to anything that has actually happened up until this point, or explanation of why.
So this old guy, he's like, hey, don't go out there. There's nothing out there. There's monsters. And then Barry Pepper, aka Johnny Greengood or whatever his name is, he starts going into this interpretive dance where he's like, did you ever see the monsters? And he starts like throwing sand in people's faces. And like people are kind of scared. I don't think they're scared because of the story they're telling. They're scared because this man is just fucking wigging out, throwing sand all over the place.
Also, even though we got horribly crushed, everyone is like in the Stone Age. Like, not only did our technology regress, but we all got instantly stupid.
Right.
Yeah.
We're wearing rags.
Oh my god. That is the worst part, I think, of the whole thing, is that everybody talks in like caveman talk.
It's like we somehow lost our language in 1,000 years.
I mean, they try to go for that, but they don't nail that. They don't quite nail the caveman thing, and they also don't quite nail the other side
like
of
a
that.
halfway in between. Like,
I want everyone to remember this moment for later in the film, because bookmark this, because this is a very salient point for a larger problem I have later.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh, we have barely scratched the surface. This is the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Yeah. Speaking of, we should move it along.
Yeah, we should. Well, as what Guido was saying, he ends up going out to what the fuck is he even going out for? To fight the monsters or see what a monster is, to see if they even exist. He leaves and he comes across two guys that say that they can show him what they call the gods. They take him to the God City, which ends up not being anything. It was Denver, Colorado. They go into downtown, and then they end up going to a mall to eat some food and get caught by the bad guys.
Let me say that
And
he
at
has
this
traveled.
point,
He's traveled what, 12 hours on horseback,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
and they've never gone further than 12 hours away from the cave they live in.
Yes.
Right. Right.
Okay, just making sure.
Exactly. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Well, they get caught in the mall. Two of the guys. One of the guys ends up being kind of his helpful comrade through the rest of the film. The other fat guy dies. And whatever. Well, this is where the film finally starts to slow down, and you start kind of recovering from this trip you feel like you've been on for the past 15 minutes. And I will have to say, when they're flying into the city, it doesn't look awful for the time. It looks okay. And this is where I kind of felt like maybe the film's going to start being actually good. Maybe they just really wanted to rush that opening dialogue for whatever reason, even though you don't give a shit about this guy right now. But you know John Travolta's coming up at some point, so maybe it's going to be worth it. And then we meet John Travolta.
Yeah.
And Forrest Whitaker.
Yep.
Man, yeah, that's a blot on a distinguished career right there.
Oh my God. You know, I really have to say I did love their performance, because if they played it straight in any way, this film would have been almost unwatchable.
Yeah.
At least they were fun. I don't know if they meant... I mean, they're both smart guys, especially Forrest Whitaker.
Travolta? He meant every bit of that. That was serious to him.
And you're absolutely right. And Whitaker's a good actor, a solid actor. And I don't know, at this point, they were just like, we've got to do something. This film's not coming along the way it should be. We're just going to go all out, because the tone of this film shifts so much. It starts very serious, but then once we start seeing the cyclos, it starts getting very campy in many ways.
Fucking stupid name.
The dumbest name in the world. But really, they are the saving grace of this film. And they're just a lot of fun. So they get put into internment camps, and they're being made to go out and mine this stuff for the guys.
No. Because this is important too.
Okay, go ahead.
What are they mining? Let's get that out there right now.
Gold.
I believe gold. Yes,
because gold is apparently a galactic currency of some merit.
Yep.
In the year 3000.
In the year
Yep.
3000.
And then a gold vein just happens to show up.
Right.
Randomly,
Okay,
after
this is
3,000 years after scanning the planet, this just giant gold vein just decides to show up.
Yeah,
Which is
for an
this is
army
the second
that can,
bookmark.
Oh, go ahead. Oh,
This
absolutely.
is the second bookmark I'm putting in. So
For a group of people who destroyed basically humanity and its defenses in 13 minutes, they really struggle finding gold. That this kind of blows my mind a little bit. I mean, it's really a problem for them, to the point that they say that, well, of course we find out some internal conflicts that Earth is operating at a loss. It's just kind of strange. It's just all kind of weird how they set all this stuff up, and totally unnecessary to really what happens overall in the plot. But anyways, Guido, you want to pick up from here?
Sure.
You want me to keep going?
Travolta and Forrest Whitaker get drunk.
Yep.
Oh, why did they get drunk? It's important.
Okay. Oh yeah, this is important. You're right. The overlord, the guy who runs Psycho, whatever, their boss, Travolta's boss, he shows up, teleports in, and he says, "Hey, great job here. Really like everything you're doing. Great work. Like the profits. I mean, you could cut, the workers' wages a little bit more, bring in more profits, but overall, doing an okay job. By the way, that transfer that you want to be transferred? It's not going to happen. And it's not going to happen for Another 50 cycles with endless options for renewal.
And did you catch why?
Endless options for renewal.
For renewal.
I like the conversation about dogs too.
Yeah, all is great. I love this guy. I wish he was in the film more. He was hilarious. Whoever this actor was.
It was horrible.
Travolta's pissed. He's like, look, dude, I was the top of my class. I'm the best cyclone. What are their
You
names?
shouldn't have messed with that senator's daughter then. Whoa.
Yeah. Whoa.
Yeah.
In
And
this
he's like-
scene was my favorite line of the movie, where he goes, "While you were still learning to spell your name, I was being trained to conquer galaxies."
Yeah.
I just love that scene. I really
he
wanted
does
to
it
rewatch this film
Shakespearean.
just for that scene. Extra over the top, like
They're like Klingons with downs.
yeah, yes. If you imagine a silly Klingon just being very Shakespearean, as you said, that's really a great way of saying it. That's a Cyclone, and you get an idea of what these characters are like.
Yeah. So they have a meeting after they get drunk. They have a meeting and they're like, how can we make more profit? We need more money out of this. We need more gold, more credits, if you will. How about we just bring more workers in and pay them half price? And then John Travolta saying the smartest thing out of all these people is like, hey, why don't we just train these man animals, humans, to do the mining for us? And then we don't have to pay anyone. And they all laugh at him.
Slavery, that's just not practical.
And that's
man
the
animals
one thing about
operating
the film.
machinery.
Like they don't think of the humans being any more than like even a dog, or I mean they thought the dogs were a higher class than the humans were, so they do not think of them as being but like ants, like so that kind of sets a tone of the conflict between the Cyclones and the humans, how they're really underestimating what the humans can do to a kind of degree. Humans are pretty dumb, but the Cyclones do something even dumber to bring out their downfall, as we'll find out later.
The fact that they're surrounded by the ruins of a great civilization,
A nuclear civilization. We've harnessed the atom.
and they're like, no, these animals, they can't operate simple mining equipment. It's so frustrating.
I mean, the premise makes sense when you talk it out, but in the movie, it doesn't really make any sense.
Well, it makes sense up to like what they do with the human, though. Like, well, he's really dumb. Let's make him super smart.
Right.
I mean, this is a good idea. Let's give him all our secrets.
Well, that's the other thing.
You're skipping
And
the
it's
worst.
a little.
Sorry.
You're skipping.
I'm sorry, I
ahead.
hate
Yeah,
to
go
back
for it.
up a hair. Just a hair. How dumb they think the humans are that they only believe they can use their guns. Because one of the very early scenes, our main protagonist, the Poppins guy, whatever, steals one of the guard's guns and shoots him. And Travolta is so perplexed that could even happen, which I found so weird. Like, why would you think he couldn't shoot your gun? But that just kind of also sets a layer of how dumb they think the humans are. But even back in the caves, the humans don't seem even close to being that stupid.
Right.
So it's very odd. But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, this leads to the worst scene in probably cinema history. I think. So he's like, well, we're just gonna teach them how to mine it anyway and take all this gold in this vein, which Nasty talked about earlier, this gold vein that just suddenly appears in the side of a cliff. Travolta's like, no, we're just going to teach them how to do this and take the money for ourselves. We're not going to give it to them. And we're going to do it all under their own thing. But first we have to teach them how to do this. And we can't teach them if they don't have like a purpose, like a reward. So then there's a discussion between Forrest Whitaker and John Travolta on what is the human's favorite food?
What is their favorite food, and how do we find it?
What do you think they would like as a treat?
As a treat.
So Travolta gets the bright idea
Fucking worst ever.
he's like, well, we'll just take 3 of the man animals and set them free. And then they will get so hungry, they will chase down their favorite food and they'll eat it in celebration.
That's the opposite of how survival works.
Yeah. Fucking ridiculous.
He's like, they can have anything they want.
Yeah,
In this
if it's there.
desolate wasteland.
Yeah, in the fucking middle of a mountain is basically where they released them.
Aren't they like in the Rockies or some shit?
Something like that.
And then they attached like cameras to them, and they were like, they can't figure out that those are cameras.
They figure out very easily.
Yeah, they
Those
figured
are
out pretty quick.
Yeah, real quick.
pretty
But so
fast.
so that scene decides that rats are their favorite food,
Right.
Because of the fact that they resorted to eating a rat because there was nothing else around.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the point where the film starts becoming so silly, and you get that weird tonal shift because the film
And
starts
fucking
out
surreal. Like, is this
Extremely.
actually happening?
absolutely extremely surreal.
The way we're talking about it makes it seem like it's like 3 minutes of scene.
No,
But no, this is a good 20-minute segment of the film.
Yeah.
This is
where
a
they
giant
set-
exposition.
Where they set these guys free to try and find out what their favorite food is.
By the way, this movie wasn't short. It was a 2+ hour movie.
I mean, this is a big ass film, and it was meant to be epic in scale.
It's meant to be one of 2.
Yeah, you're right. This is only half the book, apparently.
It's half the fucking book.
Oh my god! And really, we haven't skipped over much. Little
Yeah.
context scenes here and there. We've hit. Guido's done a good job hitting a lot of the really big points.
So they
Almost all
end
of
up coming back and they're like, okay, they like rats. So John Travolta, one of them
Okay,
starts
they
like
rats.
I don't know. I can't remember the scene exactly, but he's playing with the machines or something. And John Travolta comes in. He's like, don't touch that. And then drags Johnny into another room and tries like feeding him a rat. And he's like, this is what you like? This is what you want? And like starts stuffing a rat into his mouth.
Whoa. You're missing a big part here. His punishment is learning. Because he
No,
didn't
that
eat
comes
the fucking
after.
rat.
No, that's
Right.
when he dangles the rat in his face, wasn't it?
Yeah, he wasn't
Like, do you
learning fast
understand me?
enough.
Aren't you hungry? Like,
Yeah, aren't you hungry?
Yeah.
Oh, you're not hungry? Then learn more.
And he's not really being angry about it. He's kind of being a little sincere about, aren't you hungry? And just shoving it down his face. This is what I call the magic of movies. Never ever did I ever picture that I would see on screen John Travolta dressed as a Klingon shoving a rat down a guy's face hole. Like, that is just marvelous to me.
Yeah, it's like the punchline of a 20-minute setup joke. It took so long to get there, though. But yeah, they end up hooking him up to a machine, which injects knowledge on this race of aliens into Johnny's head. So he becomes like this brilliant Rain Man.
Johnny Mnemonic.
Right.
Johnny Mnemonic. And he gets it from a beam, like a laser beam shooting into his eye.
Yeah.
I like how
Yeah.
it goes into the eyes too. Like, that's how you learn stuff.
Right.
Well, and so
Why are
hard
they
that it
doing
like
that?
forces him back into the seat too. Like it's an actual force that's shoving into his eyes, but not hard enough to blow his eyes out, but
Right.
hard enough to push him backwards into the seat so he can't move.
Right.
What is the reasoning? They're teaching him like the
I think how to
entire
communicate.
language,
How to
Yeah.
communicate,
so he
yeah,
can
and-
mine well.
They're wanting
Yes.
to train him, since he's shown that he's a little. He grabbed the gun from a guy and shot someone, so obviously he's smarter, you know.
So obviously he's the perfect candidate to
Yeah.
teach more things to, so that
I
way
know!
he, will listen to you.
Exactly. So he's wanting the train him as a liaison, so he can speak the cyclo language as well as train the other people on how to operate the machinery.
Mm-hmm.
Solid premise. I'll go with it. How they got to that is ridiculous and stupid.
Yeah,
It's,
they could
it's
have
not
just
a solid premise because like he's communicating with John Travolta's character the entire time.
Well, I kind of
I don't know why he needs to learn like the entire cyclo language and all of their knowledge.
Well, I don't get why didn't one of the Cyclos? Well, I know one of their issues was communication. I think that was the ultimate issue was their communication.
Yeah, I wasn't really sure like if the point was the Cyclos are speaking a different language, but it's coming out as English, or if they're actually just talking to him in English.
I also think that it was supposed to point out that he needed to know their language to operate their mining equipment and operate their machine, their planes.
They basically
their
wanted
UFOs.
him to be a foreman too, I think, right?
Right. Yeah, so then they brought the chick in.
Right. Wait,
so that way they could hold that over his head. The love of his life that he left behind, that for some reason decided she needed to come after him because it'd been 3 days.
What the fuck is she gonna do? After he starts learning the language, he's able to read the controls, and he has shown he is at least somewhat resourceful. And he's starting to try to develop a plot to try to get back out. At the very least, escape, and it starts getting larger than that they're actually going to stage a rebellion against him. But so that's kind of how this starts. He's able to read the controls. He's gotten really smart on how to plan things and stuff. So that's how this begins.
There's one scene where he's in the prison and he's like writing on the ground. He's like showing them a right triangle and shit.
It's like math
Geometry.
Language.
And
Triangle.
then he's like,
equal all sides.
He like writes out the diagram of a molecule for water, and he's like, this is the molecule. This is what water means. And then one dude who's my hero of the movie, he's like, Johnny, like, what the fuck does this have to do with getting us out of here? One of the idiots is like, oh, it all has to do with it. Just don't worry about it, you guy over there.
You smart guy.
Okay, so they want to hatch this plot, right? And where do they choose to go? For what was the idea they came up with to get the gold, right? Go to Fort Knox.
Exactly, which he found out about, which was really strange. The John Travolta takes the smart guy to the Library of Congress or went to the Capitol somewhere.
No, Denver
Library.
I just
was it
Denver
really Denver
sure
Library? I thought he went to like Library of Congress or something. Oh,
why did he take him there? I didn't understand that. Like he's reading books and John Travolta's like making fun of him for reading. I didn't know what was going on.
Okay, but like idiot. This is an advanced alien society that beat us within like minutes. And yet, over 1,000 years, and they cherish gold so bad they couldn't find Fort Knox.
They did a throwaway line, which was pathetic. It was like,
I guess their scanners couldn't see through these lead walls.
Exactly.
As they're breaking into Fort Knox.
That was the saddest throwaway line I've ever heard.
I'm fine with it.
At that point, you're just like, okay,
yeah,
sure.
That's pretty late into the movie to be asking too many questions.
Oh god, my head hurts. Okay. Oh god, where did we leave off?
Well, he's starting the mining operation,
right?
They got to Fort Knox. Technically, they went to Fort Knox to get the gold instead of mining it out.
But they give him a spaceship. Like they teach him to fly one of their ships, and then they just give it to him. Right. They just like leave him. They leave him and like this huge crew of man animals alone with the spaceship.
But remember, they're watching him with the eye in the sky.
Yeah, they have cameras, but he's constantly like flying to Fort Knox and back.
He explained it. He was like, they were like, but won't they see that we're leaving? And Johnny takes a stick, breaks it in half. He's like, no, you dumb fucker. Look, one group stays here and mines. The other fucking group goes to Fort Knox, you idiot.
Yeah, the stick metaphor. They really nailed it.
Fucking worst. The absolute worst.
But they would see him flying the ship. Like, they would see him leaving.
Or they would see the ship is missing. Like, where else is it going to go?
Or they could scan the ship. They probably have, like, tags on all their ships.
Yeah. It's... At this point...
You can fire a gun. You seem trustworthy here. Have his ship.
Yeah.
Well, he had his wife or his girlfriend for leverage. He'd blow her head up if he didn't follow the rules.
Right.
Yeah. Anyways. So they get the gold and they take it back.
But they're also going to this military base at the same time, right?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah. While
Or
they're
is
out,
that later on?
Oh
yeah,
boy.
while they're out,
That's a little
getting
bit
the
later,
gold
but-
at Fort Knox. I forgot about that part.
Well,
So they show
go
up
ahead.
in a military base.
Fort Hood in Texas.
Yeah, Fort Hood,
So,
right in Texas.
so we went from Texas to Kentucky, right? Fort Knox is in Kentucky.
Well, they went to D.C. because they show
Yeah.
the White House.
I
At
like
one point.
when they're trying to read the map to get to Fort Knox or whatever, and the
Yeah,
guy's
why-
like,
why was
the guy's
DC
like,
in there?
We can't have passed into Washington. I don't see any of the lines on the
Yeah.
ground.
Oh.
They must have disappeared over time. And he's looking at a map with like, latitude and longitude lines on it. It was so dumb.
So yeah, they went from Denver to Washington for some reason because Fort Knox actually exists in Kentucky, and then they went down to Texas to then train and then go back up to Denver.
No, what did they do?
They went from Denver for
They
some
trained?
reason to Washington, and then they went to Kentucky to get the gold, and then they took those guys down to Fort Hood in
Yeah, exactly.
Texas.
So this
And then they
caveman
trained-
went in simulators.
Right, so that way they could learn in the flight simulators with no electricity.
No, there was
and I
electricity.
want to say an image of
There
what
was.
these. I want to say an image of what these soon to be very important cavemen look like. They show up out of nowhere. They're like, "Hey, you guys need some help?" They are wearing like gopher skins, painted war faces with spears and axes. They look like what you would think a caveman would.
So
Now, let's go to the simulator.
That's the crowning scene for me. Is this one of the cavemen with like a really hard, pained look of concentration on his face in a Harrier jet simulator while Johnny encourages him on.
Yeah,
He's like, "You sure you guys can do it?" Like, "Oh yeah, no problem."
a piece of cake. Piece of cake.
It's nothing.
A piece of cake.
And we're-
I'm glad that that saying lasted through
Yeah.
3,000 years.
Yeah.
What is a
too.
cake? I don't know, but
It's a piece of it. I should say that the
Yeah.
cavemen,
so at the,
the cavemen that are flying in these simulators, they show up for the very first time a good hour and 10 minutes into the movie, and they run out. They tackle John Travolta. Johnny gets his gun, and then Johnny gives like a rousing 30-second speech of like, "We can't kill this guy. We're gonna all gather up and we're gonna fight all these guys. We're gonna figure out a way. We're gonna fight them." It's like the speech to get everybody like, yeah. And these cavemen who just happened to meet them for the very first time are like, yeah, I'm with you.
Who are we killing?
Yeah. Fucking ridiculous. So
But
yeah,
anyways,
they
so
get the
yeah.
gold and they leave those guys to train, right?
Right,
And then they
right.
take the gold back.
Right.
And the guy's like, "Why is it in bars?" And he's like, "Well, we didn't want you to have to do all that work for yourself." And then he's like, "Fine, since you had enough time, I want the rest of it."
Yeah.
Whatever the fuck the rest of it means. In half the time.
Yeah, how does he know
Like-
there's more?
yeah, it's strange.
So then the whole like plot to overthrow starts.
Right. We have all the pieces set. They've been armed with.
An hour and 35 minutes in, we have all the pieces that are actually necessary to set the plot.
Oh, and oh boy, then it gets fun. So the plan is, the guys are the Cyclos. I mean, they're well armed and they're well trained. But the problem is they use teleporters to get their stuff back and forth between Cyclo and Earth. They're afraid that if they cause too much of a ruckus and they're not be able to get in control of the teleporters, they're going to bring their massive army in, and then it's going to be over. They're not going to be able to do anything about it. So they're working on an interesting timeline, but I mean, by the time we've already got Harriers and shit blowing up everywhere, they wait so fucking long to even think about bringing the army in. It's really convenient, actually. So why didn't they just do that a little bit earlier? But anyways,
Yeah.
that's kind of what it's leading up to.
So their plan is to they find a nuclear bomb in
Right.
Fort Hood or whatever. They figure out how to work it by reading this instruction manual. Mind you, I don't know if we mentioned this. This is all within a span of a week where they learn how to fly Harrier jets and use nuclear weapons.
like
Cavemen.
They have 1
dismantle
week.
and then rearm nuclear weapons based off of slides on an old-timey projector.
Yeah, so their plan is to teleport
That they know how to
the nuclear
operate.
bomb up to the Cyclo planet and to blow it up, which the radiation interferes with the gas that the Cyclos breathe.
Right.
So it'll kill all the Cyclos on the planet, essentially.
Right.
That's their
Ensuring
plan.
that they'll never have to worry about them again, ultimately.
But what happens actually at the end of the movie is the entire planet just explodes when they detonate the bomb, which I really wasn't expecting because I thought the plan was just to like disrupt their gas supply that they breathe. But
Their ecosystem
Well,
or something.
it was the way that it interacted with their gas supply. But how the fuck do you know that? Like, there's never been a explosion of a nuke in like whatever the atmosphere is that they were providing underneath this dome.
That's
Which can we also bring up the whole fact that like oxygen is being pumped into these guys' like body through a nose plug, but yet they still breathe through their mouth? Like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can go with that.
And
Also,
vice versa?
I think it's like the radiation of the nuke interacts. And they know about the radiation because supposedly that's why they have humans and stuff working on the mines at all, is because they can't breathe where the gold is.
yeah,
Right.
And it's supposedly he knows that because he got smart on that machine.
Yeah.
Exactly. and they're wanting, one of the big plans is with that, they've got this biodome with an environment that the Cyclos can breathe. So one of the plans is they need to blow up the biodome, or at least dismantle it enough that real air comes in so it chokes them out.
yeah. So they bring in Pauly Shore
Yeah, by
to the biodome.
He is right.
That gets really weird.
Stephen Baldwin too is there.
Take it easy, buddy.
Oh, jeez.
I wouldn't be surprised. Honestly, if Pauly Shore showed up, I would be like, of course, this is what happens. Of course. But basically their plan happens. There's a lot of explosions.
Right.
They
Not
drop
enough.
they drop a
The
bomb
first
on the
time.
on the dome.
Right.
It cracks. It doesn't break. It just cracks all over.
Which I don't understand what kind of glass this is. And you know what? They're aliens, so maybe. But what kind of glass do you have that would just like take a giant explosion to it and then just like disperse it amongst everything?
Mm.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
they were shooting it with like laser guns from
Right.
the Cyclo ship, and it was just like bouncing off essentially.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
But for some reason they know that the explosives that they have is going to destroy the dome.
This
Right.
little box of explosives.
But it
it's
doesn't
not-
work. It doesn't work like Guido says. It just cracks the glass.
Right.
So
And in a self-sacrificing move, the Pauly Shore guy, he really does kind of look like he could be the
Yeah, a
brother,
little bit.
ends up blowing himself up and the other explosives he had on the alien carrier, and at least saves the day partially.
yeah.
In that
The
aspect.
dome explodes onto a bunch of humans in shards of glass. No one thought about this.
Right.
I
The
mean,
buildings inside the dome start breaking apart.
Yeah. Basically on all these slaves. But they all make it out okay. Don't worry, everybody.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
fine. It's no big deal.
I gotta say that the guards,
What?
the Cyclo guards have, a lot of them have like protective shields. Like they're either wearing helmets with shields over their face or like these weird torso shields. And they're all like super dirty, like dusty and dirty to the point where you wouldn't be able to see through them. Did anyone notice
Right.
this?
Yeah.
Yes.
And-
Yeah.
It's like, where are they getting these shields and why don't they just wipe them down? It would help so much. Maybe they wouldn't have died so bad. If they just wiped their shields down.
Everything, this movie just trips over its own exposition so much.
So bad. And the final confrontation is between Greener and Travolta while he's trying to activate the teleporter to get the guy with. What happens is they have to have someone carry the nuke through the teleporter to Cyclo and detonate it. and one of the little guys is like, "I'll go and do it." So
It was the brother of the dude that got killed earlier.
that's right. I forgot about that. So he decides to do it. So he's like sitting there on this teleporter waiting to go while it's a big ass teleporter. It's just a funny looking scene on its own. But Greener fights Travolta. I can't remember. He doesn't kill him. How does he end up doing it? I don't remember.
He takes the neck thing off of the girl and throws it on his arm and then detonates it when he's about to shoot him.
That's right.
No, he tricks Travolta into detonating it.
That's
Because
that's
Travolta
what it
thinks the neck bomb is still on his girlfriend. And he's like, oh no, please, anything but that. Please don't kill her.
We totally forgot to even bring up the girl neck bomb. It goes away in like 3 minutes after it's introduced. The Forrest Whitaker's character ends up getting inspired, or at least
Rose of conscience.
right, and helps somebody deactivating the bomb from the girl, and helps them out with a few other things. And
It's complete
So, yeah.
self-preservation.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't get a conscience at all.
Right.
But didn't he like
Right.
vow to help them rebuild or something at the end?
He was going to be like their liaison
Yeah.
for when the other people come.
Yeah,
Or-
Forrest
or-
Whitaker
or-
makes it, folks. Spoiler alert.
That's it.
Oh, yeah,
He
thank God.
lives.
The only one.
What is part 2 of this movie? That's what I want to know. Are they just rebuilding their civilization with Forrest Whitaker at that point?
I
That's
didn't
all
read
I
the
can
books. I have
think
no
of.
fucking clue.
I guess we'll may never
We'll
know.
have to find out. No, thank you.
But
Travolta
yeah, but
gets
anyways,
his arm blown off by this net breaks,
Right.
and he doesn't react at all. Like there's no reaction
he's-
from him. His arm is gone, and he'd scream in pain. He doesn't even look at his arm. He's just like, oh, well, I guess he got me.
I like to think they just had one arm to blow up on set, and they did it too early. So they're like, just keep it. It's fine. We'll
Leave
just
it in.
make him pretend he's a badass.
But
So,
they end up
He ends
capturing him.
Yeah.
They end up capturing
Right.
Travolta. They place him in a jail cell, and they surround him with gold. Isn't that irony?
Inside
no,
Fort Knox.
It's gold.
Inside Fort
gold
Knox.
ring.
Gold bars.
And we find out what could be part of the next film is he acknowledges that there are other, and they blow up Cyclo. They send the guy through the teleporter. He detonates it, blows up their home world. But Greener does say, I know there's other Cyclos out there, and if they come, we're going to use you as a bargaining chip, saying you sold everyone out. And
Yeah.
that's pretty much the end.
That's it,
It literally
folks.
does just end.
Yeah,
right?
That's
it.
That's it. That's a pod.
Get fucked.
I can't. I mean, as I don't know if we made it sound like fun, but I can't recommend you
It's
watch
not
this
fun.
movie.
It's- I mean, if you like movies, if you like film, I think
don't watch it.
It's fun. If you have a group of friends and you want to watch something really bad, I recommend it.
Right. It's a film that I would call I would call it schlock to a degree. It's a film that they tried really hard to make truly epic, but it fails in every single way. But I would not call it, if you're going to the frame of mind saying this is a bad movie, it's not completely unwatchable. It's just very entertaining if you find bad movies entertaining. I would recommend it. Watch it for free, and actually you can't. It's nowhere on like if you're wanting to bring on like Amazon Video. I couldn't even really find a DVD copy. I mean, it's like been scrubbed off the earth. But
As
you
it
can easily
should.
find it online for free. It should. You don't pay money to watch this unless you're going to add it to your collection of bad movies. But I recommend it.
I want my
In
2
conclusion,
hours back.
8
I
out
want my
of
2
10.
hours back.
Well, thanks, guys. I knew it was going to be a bad one, but
It's all good.
it was a fun one. So,
I
all
felt
right.
bad for picking Baby's Day Out, and I was like, man, I gotta watch this Battlefield Earth. I don't know. I'd feel bad if I make people have to watch Baby's Day Out if it gets selected. And now I'm just like, you know what? Fuck you, Biggie Size. You're watching Baby's Day
making
Out.
us watch
Yeah,
this
yeah.
shit.
No, I am down for some Baby's Day Out. Oh, absolutely. Well, I guess we can talk about what we want to watch next month. Any films coming out in theaters you want to see, or we spin the wheel again?
Spin the wheel again. Keep them all on there. Just take yours off.
Will do. We'll spin the wheel. Well, do you guys want to say what's on the wheel for those who? I put a video online. I'll put another one when I spin it again. But if you guys want to say what your picks were.
Yeah. I picked Baby's Day Out. It is a comedic romp through the life of a baby.
It's a great movie, actually.
A baby gets kidnapped, but the kidnappers are very inept, and it's a series of pratfalls and misguided losing of the baby. It should be a great.
It's like a Buster Keaton movie.
Yeah,
it's like a live action, like cartoon style film.
Yeah, lots of piano music of like.
It's literally like a movie from the 30s repackaged. It's phenomenal.
Right.
Have you guys seen this already?
Yeah.
A long
I saw it
time.
in theaters,
You've
man.
all seen it?
You saw it?
It's like a 90s movie.
Oh God.
It was a pretty big movie when it came out.
It was at its time. It was huge.
Really?
Yeah.
So, Mill, what's your movie?
I picked RoboCop because I've never seen it, and I'm not a terrible person like Guido and Biggie.
Oh, I'm so excited for RoboCop.
RoboCop's awesome.
Oh, it's such a fun movie. What about you, Nasty?
Fuck, what was the name of the one that I picked?
I think you picked
It's the
Moana.
new
Moana,
Yeah, that's the one. It's the new Disney movie that just came out. It's a real good feel-good movie, you know?
It looks good. I love the setting and the art style they went with. I mean, it's very Disney, but it looks nice. It's a different setting. I'm excited to see that one.
Yeah, same.
What about you, Wally?
The Adventures of Baron Munchausen, which is a Terry Gilliam movie based on the adaptation of 18th century comic book strip about a crazy baron and his misadventures in the Orient and beyond.
And that is one I'm very excited to see as well. We really have all really good movies. Except for mine. Mine was the one that I was like, I just want to fuck everyone over for 2 hours.
Yeah, I just want to pick a shitty movie now. I'm spiteful now, like Guido.
I have another one picked for when we refresh the wheel, and I can't wait to watch.
You don't have the wheel
I won't say
prepared
it
right now to where you could spin it, and so people could watch it by the time there's another episode?
I can, yeah. I posted a video in the, and I'll tell you, I'll post a video in the movies section of Discord.
You're saying do it now.
Oh, you want me to do it now? I can go ahead and do it now. Oh, yeah. Give me a second. Or
okay.
Can we edit this part out?
No, we'll just keep talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't edit nothing. Biggie goes to get his wheel
of fortune.
Yeah. You can meet Biggie at Just Okay Con in September 1st through the 5th.
Plug the shit out of it.
I think we're getting down to 9 spots left if all the people pay. Yeah, dude. How do you guys feel about that?
I'm excited.
It's going to be full.
It's going to be a lot of people, and I'm kind of worried.
I'm kind of worried that they're all going to want us to entertain them, too.
Well, I mean, we do owe it to them a little bit.
Yeah.
We'll entertain.
Yeah.
All right, I got the wheel ready, guys.
Okay.
Let's do it.
All right, here we go.
Oh, boy.
3, 2, 1. Here it goes.
Oh, man. No clicking?
No.
Come on. Big money, big money, big money, big money.
Ooh, we're going to watch a little Moana.
Ooh.
Oh, Moana.
Moana.
We know who we are, who we are.
Very good.
All right.
I'm pretty sure it's still at Redbox.
Sweet.
Okay.
So I'm going to check, though, to see. And if not, then I'll come up with where we can all get it at.
Sounds
Since
great,
it was
man.
my pick.
Well,
all right.
That allows
guys,
everybody. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That allows
go
everybody
ahead,
to
Guido, I'm
watch.
so
Oh my god!
I think there's a delay between me and Biggie a little bit.
There may be, yeah.
Everybody, it gives a chance for everybody to watch it before the next Patreon episode. So
It is
great.
still at Redbox, by the way.
Cool.
All right.
Touch your red box.
Well, Biggie, you want to sign us out?
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you guys for participating and watching this wonderful film and talking about it. And we'll come back next month with a little Moana. So please tune in. All right. You all take care. Bye.
Bye.
Wow.
Bye.
Okay.
Y'all take
What?
care. Bye.
Bye bye.